This is Braggin's Adventures.
Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Andrew with Braggin's Adventures, and today we're going to review for you the Queen Mary, both as a hotel and as a tourist attraction. We had the pleasure of staying here for 2 nights in January of 2024. We ate at every dining venue, we did as many of the activities as we could, and we even booked the paranormal tour, that late night one. Pretty scary stuff. Let's check it out. Alright, so where better to start than with a room tour? Now, we stayed on the main deck where the lobby is, so this is the deck that you're going to enter off of. Our room was A133. It was pretty close to midship. Nice queen-size room, plenty of space for the two of us. Overall, I'm actually really happy with this room. Obviously, later in the video, I'm going to give you my actual full review of the room, and we're going to talk each morning after we get up. But overall, coming in, it's a very stunning room. I mean, it reminds me a lot of some of those shots in the Titanic movie, where I was taken back to the time when this ship was sailing, and that was a really cool thing for me personally. These portholes were my absolute favorite part of the entire room, because look at this view out of our porthole. I mean, that's pretty spectacular. And they actually open, like fresh air coming in. But these are cool. We left them open pretty much the entire time we were there. Cool little seating area, nice large amount of space, plenty of closet space, plenty of storage space, plenty of dresser space, 2 nightstands plus these 2 upper nightstands slash headboard things, plenty of light, just a well-appointed room. And I like that some of these older parts of the room are still there, like that fan that you just saw. You get the ironing board and iron, which is pretty standard in modern hotels, so that was nice. There are extra pillows there in the closet spaces as well. Took me a little while to figure out how to open these closets, by the way. There's that push button that'll unlock it for you. And make it easy. They do have a couple of luggage racks, so if you want to keep your luggage off the ground, you can do that as well. And then this really interesting little vanity space that I thought was a pretty cool addition to the room. Like I said, these are huge rooms. Now, they do have smaller rooms on the ship, so the price that we paid isn't necessarily the price you're going to pay. It's based on room category, room size, if you will. And I'll touch on it a little bit later in the video, but no 2 rooms are alike on this ship. So yeah, you can go for a cheap room. It's going to be much smaller than what we're in. This is a deluxe king, and we had obviously a harbor view, as you saw. Fairly nice bathroom. I was pretty happy with it. After getting unpacked and getting settled, we went up on deck and we checked out this cool model museum that they have. This is absolutely free once you're on board. And they just have models of various ships from this particular line, as well as a couple other ones. Interesting facts that you can read about them, but the detail in these ships is really astounding. This is a cool space. Depending on how into model ships you are, you might spend anywhere from 5 minutes in this area to an hour if you're reading every little fact card that's available in this space. I'm somewhere in the middle. We spent about 30 minutes in this area. The thing is, so check-in is at 3, but the bar doesn't open till 4. We had some time to kill, so we did. We wanted to see as much of the ship as we could on our first minutes on there, and I think we made good use of our time. But anyway, this is really cool. This is up by the Promenade Cafe. It's right outside of it, in fact. I actually really enjoyed my time here in this space, and I hope you would too, because like I said, the detail in these models was just astounding. I really did enjoy looking at these. Alyssa was kind of working from home, had to finish up some work before we left for the week, so she was taking some phone calls while I went up and checked this area out. I highly recommend you make it part of your stay. I wouldn't think younger kids would have necessarily a great time, but anywhere from a teenager that has an interest in the model ships and up to adults is probably going to enjoy this space within the ship just as much as I did. we enjoyed some time up on deck and checking everything out on the ship before we were going to head to the bar, but then we went ahead and went to the observation bar. Hey guys, what's going on? We're in the observation lounge here inside the Queen Mary observation bar lounge, and we are here to try a couple of beverages for you. This is called the Brown Derby, and it's bourbon, grapefruit, and honey. What'd you get?
I have the gin basil smash, which is gin, lime, fresh basil, and simple syrup.
Super tasty.
Very refreshing. You definitely get basil in this.
It's grapefruit all the time. I don't even taste the bourbon. That's how grapefruit forward this is. But you know how when you take a grapefruit, you put honey on it for breakfast? That's what this tastes like with booze.
All right, they have small bites here at the observation bar as well. So what we're trying today is the corned beef sliders that come with sauerkraut, grain mustard, Swiss cheese on a brioche bun. You get 3 little sliders here.
Looks pretty good. They're good, they're flavorful, and they're definitely worth the $12. I would get these.
Hey guys, what's going on? We are back in our room on board the Queen Mary. We just had dinner at the Chelsea's Chowder House. Before we give our full review of the food, our total tab tip included with 2 drinks each, $210. This is not a cheap place to eat dinner. That being said, what we got was the bread service, $5 for that. That bread was my favorite thing that I ate tonight. It was so good. Just go in for a cocktail on the bread and you're gonna have yourself a good day. The bread was really good. How about the Caesar salad? What were your thoughts on that?
The Caesar salad was amazing. It was nice and fresh.
Fresh, light.
The croutons were crunchy. I mean, it's everything that you want from a salad.
The one thing they do with the Caesar salad here that's different from every other Caesar salad I've had is they put little heirloom tomatoes in it, which gave it a bright acidity. Because a Caesar salad can tend to be a little creamy, a little heavy. Yeah. And that little pop of acid, I feel like, did a lot for us.
It was really good.
What else? Clam chowder. What'd you think?
Clam chowder. That was delicious clam chowder. It was very thick. My favorite part was like the little bacon bits.
There were bacon, like crispy, crunchy bacon in there.
It was really good. It was very like peppery. Like it was a very like.
It's a good clam chowder.
Yeah.
Like, it's not what I would call a traditional clam chowder.
No, I feel like it was more like almost like a southern. Like it was more like a gravy.
Yeah. So good though. So good.
It was so good though.
Bacon clam gravy. Let's see. We got that Frito misto, which was like a fried mixed plate, calamari, shrimp, fried lemon.
Good.
Yeah, zucchini and squash.
Yeah.
And then it came with what they called a spicy cocktail sauce. Not remotely spicy. Good, but not spicy.
Yeah.
And then fresh tartar.
Yeah.
The fried lemon, though, can we talk about that? The weirdest thing I've ever put in my mouth. So yummy.
It was surprisingly good.
Because you got that brightness from the lemon, but then it was fried.
But my favorite part of the whole dish was the fried zucchini. Like, I just
so
love,
good.
like...
So good.
Fried zucchini.
Shrimp and calamari were good too, but we were a little fried out because of the next dish we're going to talk about, which was the fish and chips. Now, Alyssa's the fish and chips guru.
As in, I am very particular about my fish and chips. They can't be too oily, too bready. It's got to be like a nice, light, crisp breading, and this one was not, unfortunately. It was very...
oily, heavy.
Very oily, very heavy,
thick.
Very, like, doughy.
Yeah.
Like, you break... It wasn't like a crisp break. It was like, ugh.
The fries, however, the chips.
Oh, those were the saving...
highlight of tonight, yeah.
Yes.
Super tasty.
They're really good. If you eat the fish out of the fish and chips, it was really tasty.
Like, take it out of the breading and just eat the cod.
And that's what we ended up
It's good
doing.
cod. And then the potatoes are their sidewinder.
potatoes, which you
Yes.
could get as a side on any dish. They're tasty,
I would
for sure.
recommend doing that. As of right now, skip the fish and chips.
Yeah, it's not our jam. And probably skip that Frito misto too. It's just,
was
it's
just
too
too much.
fried here. It's too...
Yeah.
Stick with the fresh stuff, which brings me to the next thing and the final thing that we got.
Oh.
We got the roasted
Yes.
oysters. Garlic, lemon, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and just a nice roast, a very light roast. You still got the freshness of the oyster. That was, I think, my favorite thing tonight, was those oysters.
It was fresh. It was just like a burst of flavor.
Yep. And you got that garlic and that lemon and Parmigiano.
Yeah.
Parmigiano in there. Just a beautiful combo on your palate. Super tasty. Just know you're gonna spend some money when you go. Do you remember our server's name? I already forgot it. She was amazing.
All the service in the restaurant.
Everyone
was
there
great.
was amazing. Yeah.
Everyone,
Yeah.
anybody that came up to our table had great customer service.
Even we snagged like a busboy at one point because I had a question about the architecture or something, and he totally like helped us answer us. And he's like, "Do you have any questions about the menu? Please let me know." He was literally not in our section and doing something completely different when I pulled him aside. Their service here is bar none. You are paying for the service and the view and the ambiance there, for sure.
For sure.
Skip the fried foods.
Yep.
Hit the fresh foods. You're gonna be very happy, and make sure you grab that bread service. Drinks.
Oh my gosh, you know what? The drinks are phenomenal.
Their cocktail
I
menu.
prefer the drinks
Over the food.
over the food and over
the observation bar.
So, and they have a bar that opens up at
Noon.
So,
Inside Chelsea's. The restaurant's not open, but you can go into the bar. Same drinks.
I would do that. Both the drinks that I had were amazing.
Yeah. Super good.
Super good.
Yeah. I'm happy with dinner though, are you?
I am.
I'm happy with the Queen Mary so far.
You know what? It's been great. Customer service has been just phenomenal.
Really
all
good on the ship.
around.
And they're so apologetic for it being an old ship. I know what I booked. I booked a stay on an old ship. I expect there to be some issues.
Yeah.
This is, first off, we already said it. We're not doing our full room review yet, but I'm going to give you a sneak peek. It ain't the Travel Lodge. Okay? I am so happy with this room right now. I'm happy with the ship, the service, and we did report our leaky faucet in the or leaky handle for the toilet, because I wanted them to know, and I specifically said, I don't want to move rooms. I'm very happy in this room. I just wanted you to know. I'm like, do we have permission to go in and fix it for you? I was like, do whatever you want. I don't care. I just wanted you to know what was going on.
We didn't want it to be an issue going down the road, like if someone else didn't report it or whatnot.
6 months from now, if nobody's reported it, it's going to become a problem.
Yeah.
But I don't want to move. I love this room.
It's such a great, it's huge.
And our view,
like,
it's huge.
These are portholes. These are literally portholes.
That open. You can literally, this is outside air coming in right now.
Yeah.
No screen or nothing. It's a cool space.
Yeah.
I think we're actually going to try to go to some lower decks right now. It's nighttime out, a little dark, a little spooky.
We're gonna go ghost hunting.
We're going to go ghost hunting. Peace.
And indeed we did. And this is not the paranormal tour that I was talking about before. We did that the following night. This was just us exploring the ship and checking out some of the accessible areas that are open later in the evening. I gotta tell you, the ship's pretty spooky, but it's also just grand. They have these long hallways, and because nowadays when you get on a cruise ship, there's bends and turns in the corridors. There's not on the Queen Mary. It's you could see clear from one end of the ship to the other, and it gives this spooky off-kilter feeling. You know that we were gonna head down. And while we will come back here during the paranormal tour and actually get to go inside, you know we had to take this ghost hunting opportunity to head to the most haunted room, E340. You can check this out 24 hours a day if you're staying at the hotel, but you can't go inside. You could just peek through this window. In the paranormal tour, though, we did get to go inside. I'm not going to show you any of that footage because I feel like some of this should be kind of a surprise to you. While we're on the subject, though, just as an aside, please make sure you get your tour guide's permission to film them. Some of them are actors, and in the actors' equity, and you can get in a lot of trouble.
Good morning, everybody. Andrew here. This is our first morning aboard the Queen Mary. We got up bright and early and worked out as intended. We used the gym, which I'm going to throw some footage on the screen right now. It's a cool little gym. Honestly, I didn't expect that much modern equipment in an old historic ship like this. Plus, seeing the historic equipment in there as well was pretty cool. I wish they didn't have the glass. I know it's to protect the older equipment, but it gave us some pretty bad glares when we were filming. After our workout, we decided that today we're going to try breakfast at the Midship Marketplace, which is kind of their grab and go. They do serve Starbucks coffee, but it's not a Starbucks. And they just have a couple small breakfast things. So what we did, we grabbed a buttery flaky croissant and then some quiche Lorraine. And Alyssa got a coffee of the day, and then I got a hot tea because that's what we do. And we're going to try this food for you right now. Break into this. Oh, look at that. Look at all that. You see in there? The ham and stuff?
That looks tasty.
Better than quiche Lorraine, I'm gonna make it home. I know these are brought in. They're not making these here on site. And I'm sure they're pre-made at a factory somewhere and they just pop them in the oven. It's got flavor though. And honestly, all of this food, the tea, croissant, 2 quiche Lorraines, the coffee, it's 32 bucks. I'm on a cruise ship. Yeah, it's a cruise ship. I'm on the historic Queen Mary. Prices aren't cheap here. I don't think this was that bad though. They do have tables outside you can dine at. We opted to bring it back to our room because it's quieter here and we can film. I'm not mad about it at all. Should I check out the croissant?
Yes.
Listen, ready?
Look at all those flaky goodness
Oh,
falling everywhere.
everywhere. That's the croissant I want. Buttery, crispy, flaky, good. That's worth every penny by itself. Very tasty. I'm very happy with this breakfast. After we finish eating, I'm gonna give you my review of the room last night.
All right, guys, let's do a quick rundown first of the outlets. Considering this is technically a cruise ship and technically a very old cruise ship, there is a surprising number of outlets. On my side of the bed, it's gonna be kind of dark in this corner, but there's one up here on this kind of upper nightstand headboard thing. Bed's down there, right? So that worked out. I can plug all my stuff in. I've got my fan and my humidifier going. Then, let's see, how can I show you this? Then, down under the TV, there's 4 freaking plugs right there that aren't being used by the TV because their stuff is plugged in way up there. So that's nice and convenient. Over on Alyssa's side of the bed, there is not the outlet because the telephone's on this side. So the wiring that they ran is for the telephone right there. There is, however, over at the vanity area, let's see, a spin around. Sorry, it's kind of a mess here, but you can see back there, right here. So there's one outlet there. So Alyssa plugged her stuff in, and then there's the one in the bathroom that their hairdryer's plugged into. Now on a cruise ship, you usually only have one outlet, so that was actually quite pleasant, quite surprising. That being said, the TV does not have a sleep timer. It's one of those things where they have hooked up like a DirecTV box and you're using the DirecTV remote, and that disables the menu for the television. So there's no sleep timer. You know how I feel about that. It's my biggest pet peeve, probably bigger than the outlets thing, is the no sleep timer. Honestly though, that's one of my very few complaints. This place is definitely quirky. It's getting a huge pass for me because it is historical. Stuff like the leaky faucet, the spooky leaky faucet in the bathroom, not a big deal to me at all. Cracks and stuff like that. It's old. This ship's old, okay? Stuff like that's not going to bother me as much as it would in a modern hotel. And even with all of its quirks and all of its age, still 1,000 times better than any Travelodge we've ever stayed at. All right, let's talk how I felt overnight. None of the ventilation on this ship works. They've got multiple systems here, right? I'm going to show you right now. So there's this old heater box thing And then everywhere in here, there's these warmer, cooler vents. There's 2 above the bed over here, right? There's the old original fan here, right? And then there's this thing in the ceiling, which is obviously also ventilation. And over on this wall is a thermostat that I assume at one point controlled something. None of that works. None of it. None of it. And they do say that when you check in at the front desk. They're like, hey, it's an old ship. None of the stuff works. If you need extra blankets because you're cold or you need a fan because you're hot, let us know. I have my little bedside fan, my travel fan that I bring, and we left these porthole windows open all night long. There were a few times I would get hot, but then I would get cold, and then I would get hot, and then I would get cold. That's not entirely abnormal for me. Alyssa did the same thing. Not entirely abnormal either. We live in the mountains, so our temperatures fluctuate a lot. I just think it's funny that there's all this different type of ventilation, including the historical stuff, and then that one in the ceiling is obviously much more modern, and none of it works. The bed, a little bit hard. Not hard. Not cardboard. Firm. We have one of those soft mattresses in our house that kind of cradles you. Not like a wimpy mattress, but the like memory foam kind that like your body sinks into and it forms. This is a very firm mattress, and the pillows they're not the greatest pillows on earth. I slept pretty okay until about 3 a.m. And the only reason I think I woke up at 3 a.m., I toss and turn every single night of my life. That's just how I live my life. But at 3 a.m., I'm pretty sure either on deck or in a neighboring stateroom that also had their windows open, some gentleman decided to have a very loud, laughy conversation about Facebook. And it went on for at least 20 minutes, and it was very obnoxious. I was at the point where I was about to get out of bed and go say something, and then I was like, no, just calm down. The only reason I know it was actual humans and not ghosts within the ship is because the conversation was about Facebook. Facebook didn't exist when this ship was sailing. Anyway, so yeah, that was my night's experience. I want to find out how Alyssa felt about it. But overall, I'm pretty happy here. Customer service takes care of everything. Anything that might be wrong here, the excellent customer service is making up for it, absolutely. And you know how far service goes with me. So let's check out Alyssa and find out what she thinks. All right, Alyssa, so how did you sleep?
I slept solidly for probably 3.5 hours. And then I woke up and I had a hard time getting comfortable, but that might not have anything to do with staying here. I just haven't been able to sleep the last week, so I can't really judge that. The bed is a little...
You sleep poorly the first night you're in a hotel anyway.
I do, because I have to get used to the bed.
What were you going to say about the bed?
It's a little firm.
That's what I said,
for me.
Same.
Our bed is a little softer,
Same.
so...
Yeah.
Not bad though. Like, it's not
the worst bed.
I've definitely slept in worse beds.
At a travel lodge.
Yes. But not bad. I have my earbuds in, so I don't hear anything.
She did not get the 3 a.m. Facebook laughy conversation.
No.
We both showered now.
Yes.
Do you have thoughts on the shower now that we've used it?
I mean, it's weird.
It's weird.
Like, it's so narrow. Like, your feet like literally have to be like right next to each other
to
without going up
curl
on
up the
edge.
side walls. Yeah.
The water pressure's not great.
Not great.
At all.
Not great.
But my heat was fine.
So it takes a while to warm up because when I showered, I had it all the way hot and it was warm. But by the time she showered after me, you had hot water.
Yeah, I had hot water.
So
yeah, it was fine.
Takes a bit to warm up. That drain's weird too. I kept sinking down into the drain.
Yeah, because it feels like it's almost in the
middle of the tub, yeah. Yeah. I'm happy though. I know you don't use them, but I use the amenities here. That body wash was amazing. I loved it. It foamed up real nice. My skin feels soft. It had a good scent. I used the lotion as well, which was lovely. Has a nice scent. And I feel moisturized. So, not the worst room.
No, I actually really like this room. It's not, I mean, if you come here thinking that you're staying at a five-star
luxury.
Yeah, you're going to be disappointed. But you come in here and you're literally
a historic ghost ship.
Historic ghost ship. Like,
totally right.
That's...
Totally right. Let's see, what do we got going on now? You want to walk around the ship a bit?
Let's
go check out some more?
Yep.
Yeah? We've got one more night here, right?
Yep.
We're going to eat some more meals here. So, yeah, let's go. Cheers.
So we spent some of our time Saturday morning checking out more areas of the ship. Some of the stuff that maybe wasn't open the night before, including this giant Lego model. This is complimentary again. Once you're on the ship, everything except the tours is free, right? And food, obviously. Lots of decks to explore. Some of them might be closed because it is still going through a renovation and a restoration. So they limit access to the areas at certain times when that is being done. But we were able to explore, I think, pretty much every part of the ship that we wanted to. I'm not going to show you everything though, because like I said before, I want some of your trip to the Queen Mary to be a surprise. And there's a lot of cool stuff to check out on the Queen Mary. There are self-guided tours that are absolutely complimentary, or you can do one of the guided tours. Lots of areas both below deck and up on deck just to explore and hang out and check out. We had an absolute blast exploring the ship. Just a really good time. After lunch on this day, we did get off the ship and walk the 2 miles over to Seashore Village, Sea Lion Village, Sea whatever it's called Village, and spent some time there in the afternoon. So there will be a bit of a time jump in this video after lunch. But for the most part, at least Saturday morning, we were on the ship until after lunch when we left the ship to go over there. Again, so many cool areas and a lot of historical like placards up so that you can read and learn about the areas that you're checking out. Don't think that it's just the tours or just a restaurant or just a hotel. There is plenty for you to see and do on your own once you're on board the ship / hotel. You just got to walk around and explore, and if you're lost or you want to know where something specific is, go ask somebody. There's lots of employees there that they're excited to talk to you about the ship. They're just as excited to be there as you are, and I think that's really cool. I like seeing that passion that you don't necessarily see nowadays, like when you go to maybe a theme park or to a regular hotel. These people want to talk to you about the history of the ship. They want to talk to you about the spookiness of the ship. They want to talk to you about the current setup of the ship and what this restoration means for it. I highly encourage you to definitely talk to the employees while you're there, in addition to just exploring on your own. And you know what? There's so much upper deck space that you could just walk around on. This is a great spot to burn off some of those calories that you're going to get from eating at the restaurants. One of the really cool spots that we found was this game room, and they had the foosball. There's TVs everywhere where you can watch games, and then the shuffleboard, little tables where you could sit and maybe read a book. It's a cool indoor space. It's been a little bit modernized, but we had a blast hanging out here and just enjoying a cocktail and playing some of these games. Definitely worth checking out.
Alright guys, so we were just walking around the ship and there were a few doors open because it's right around checkout time, so a lot of the rooms were being cleaned. And we took a peek in and noticed they were A, very differently shaped right next to each other, and B, very differently sized from ours. We've also been trying to figure out how the room next to ours fits within the shape of our room. I went and asked. We went and talked to the front desk staff. They didn't have a line at that exact second, so I went up and asked. I had 2 employees helping me. They were both very happy to answer my questions. So this ship was kind of piecemealed together. No 2 rooms are the exact same size or shape or with the same amenities and furniture. You will never get to stay in a room like the one you stayed in last time. They're all slightly different in some way or another. In fact, the worker this morning told me a lady came up and was asking about these ashtray holders in her room. No other room has ashtray holders, so the workers had no clue about it, right? Our room is very long. Now we're midship, which I found out this ship was not designed by deck. It was designed by forward, aft, and mid. So the first class rooms are mid, second class are slightly outer, and then third class are at the front and the aft, right? and it had to do with the rocking of the ship. So the first class passengers had a smoother sailing. So those 2 rooms we looked at that were in that back corner, those are third class rooms technically, even though they're on our deck. And both were considered harbor view rooms like what we have, but one was a standard harbor view where we have a deluxe harbor view, and another one was a king harbor view. Okay, so differences include the fact we have a tub and shower. That one only has a shower, a stand-up shower. Ours has space for a rollaway bed in addition to our bed that's in here. The room right next door, though, that they probably paid the same price for, does not have room for the rollaway bed. They don't have this extra seating area we had. I'm so fascinated by that. And the fact that every room on the ship is different. You could literally stay in every single room and have a different experience every time. But the greatest thing that I found out right now is our room is one of the few rooms on the ship where this is the original wood paneling that you see everywhere.
That's crazy.
Original wood to the original sailing of this ship. I just think that's cool.
So cool.
I think it's worth a mention.
Yep.
Just know that when you stay here,
You're not. Don't expect a room.
don't
like
expect a
ours.
room like your neighbors. Don't expect a room like other members in your traveling party. Don't expect this gorgeous room that we got. I'm very fortunate. You don't get to pick your room like on a cruise ship. It's hit and miss. You get a category, but there's such a variety in those categories. I just think that's cool.
Super cool.
Are you happy with the Queen Mary so far?
I am.
I'm loving this.
Yeah.
You want to go grab some lunch?
Let's go.
Let's go. All right, guys, we are done and filming this slightly later than when we had lunch at the Promenade Cafe, but we wanted to tell you about it and give our final thoughts. Alyssa, what did you have to eat?
I had the French dip.
And I had the California Club, which is a club with avocado, because California. Drinks, what we do?
I did the Queen Mary Martini.
And I had the Bloody Mary. Let's talk drinks first. What did you think?
It was really good. It's dry, so if you don't like the overly sweet beverages, this is the drink for you. It did have some orange bitters in it, which
They
helped.
came out a little, yeah?
Yeah, it helped kind of kick it up a notch.
Yeah.
Really tasty.
Should be noted, it's the same drink menu that the Chelsea Chowder House has, because the Promenade Cafe is serviced by their bar. So anything that you could have gotten there, you can get at Promenade Cafe. Food.
So good.
So first off, the servings were gigantic. Huge sandwiches, and we, instead of fries, we opted for salad. And it was a
keep it a
really
little
big
lighter.
salad.
It was a huge salad, and the dressing.
Delicious. We got the
So
recipe from the chef. That's how good the
good.
dressing was.
Yeah.
My sandwich was phenomenal. I thought it was good. Nice sourdough, lots of really fresh cut turkey, and that creamy avocado and that crisp bacon. It was a really tasty sandwich. How'd you feel about yours?
Mine was so good. The meat was good. The au jus was good. The horseradish was like good. Like
Tasty, tangy horseradish.
Yeah. And then the bread on that sandwich was like
Best bread ever.
Yeah, very
Yeah, for real.
rustic.
For real.
Tasty.
And then price-wise, I feel like the pricing today at lunch at the Promenade Cafe was much better than the dinner last night at the Chelsea Chowder House. I feel like what we paid is what we got in value.
Yes.
The sandwiches are like $22 each, but they're $22 sandwiches. They're huge,
Yeah.
and you have an ocean view. The drinks were the same price, but the food I feel like was better quality than the Chelsea Chowder House at a lower cost.
Yeah.
Service was fine. He was super pleasant.
Yeah.
It's a cool little spot. I would eat there before I would eat at Chelsea Chowder House, honestly.
I would too, which
Yeah.
I am surprised.
We didn't expect that. We feel like maybe everybody's kind of hyped up Chelsea Chowder House too much in some of these vlog videos, which made our expectations super high.
Yeah.
Maybe if we didn't have those expectations, we might have enjoyed it more. But we had low expectations for Promenade Cafe, and it vastly exceeded them.
Yeah.
I feel like they flipped. Promenade Cafe is absolutely delicious.
For sure.
They had other entrees and stuff, but I would stick with the
Yeah.
sandwich. If you're going at lunch, tomorrow morning we're going to try their breakfast buffet for you.
Yes.
We'll let you know how that is in the morning. See ya. Good morning, everybody. Last night we did the paranormal activity tour.
Yes.
That's the price here. What, it's $69
Yeah.
per person. Hotel guests get discounts on all the tours here except that one. Highly recommend you book in advance. We had a pretty big crowd. Ours was fairly
huge.
full. Yeah, it was pretty insane. Hope that you get Paul. Paul is probably the best tour guide I've ever had on any tour ever.
Yep.
He's energetic. He's hilarious. He tells a good story. He weaves a good story.
Yep.
He's an actor,
Yeah.
and it's very obvious. I mean, he puts that extra effort into your tour. He's definitely a good guy.
Yeah.
So good, in fact. This is a 2-hour tour. Okay. Now that might sound long to you, but honestly, it wouldn't feel like that. It flew by so quick. He goes, "You're gonna break halfway through," and that halfway was like that.
Yeah.
But we had been going for an hour at that point.
Yeah.
It did not feel like it. And the break halfway through is at the observation bar, and you
Grab a
can
drink.
grab a drink for the rest of the tour.
And you get discounts if you're on that tour.
Yep.
We got cocktails for like $12.
Instead of the $14.50 or whatever that we had paid previously. And then you take your cocktail. Takes you to all kinds of places on the ship that you might not otherwise have access to. And he's got stories everywhere. He'll answer whatever questions you have. Really fun tour. So fun, in fact, that at the end of our 2 hours, there were about 4 of us. 2 of us and another couple. And Paul's like, "Come on, sneak this way with me." And we kind of moved around a corner so that all the other departing guests couldn't see us. And he goes, "I'm gonna take you somewhere else." We went another hour and a half with him.
Yeah.
3.5-hour tour, okay? Coolest experience, right?
Yeah, it was so cool. He would answer any questions that you had. Just story after story, and he's like, I could just talk for hours, and I could listen to him for
Could have
hours.
listened, yeah, absolutely. So we went to bed about 12:30.
Yeah, we're a little tired
A
right
little tired, but great time. Highly recommend that tour. And the best part about those dollars that you're spending, those $69 a ticket, that's not going to some profit CEO, and that goes back into the ship, that goes into the restoration of the ship so that we can continue enjoying it.
Yep.
And boy howdy, I'm enjoying it.
Yep.
Hi guys, good morning. We just finished breakfast at the Promenade Cafe Breakfast Buffet. I do want to note that they no longer offer the breakfast menu. So if you find that on Google, it's not real. It is strictly a breakfast buffet now. It's $28 a person.
Yep.
I thought the selection was nice for a small buffet in a cafe.
Yeah, I had the staples.
Yeah, eggs, bacon, sausage, omelet
Omelet.
station, fruit station, pancakes, toast, pastries,
Oatmeal.
Yeah, I mean,
And a really good hash. They had like a corned beef hash.
with peppers, onions, potatoes, and corned beef, and then fried eggs. Super yummy.
That was probably my favorite bite.
More than the
of
omelet?
breakfast. Actually, yep, no.
The omelet guy was
The
good
omelet
here.
was really good.
He ratios were right on that. I thought it was tasty.
Yeah.
Is it orange juice, bottomless juice,
The orange juice was really
coffee,
good.
tea, water?
And the service was great. I mean, as soon
Dude.
as I like put my coffee cup down, he like filled it.
Yeah, he was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And then he had filled it, so she had a full cup, but we were ready to go. And I asked, I go, "Could you walk with that?" He goes, "No, but I'll bring you a to-go cup." And then he brought a full to-go cup of coffee.
So sweet.
Really great service there.
Yeah.
Is it a $28 buffet?
I mean, I guess if you think about like all the different stuff that you ordered, like omelets are normally maybe $20 at a.
Yeah, and then orange juice
Place.
would be $4, coffee would be $4.
I mean, it's just we weren't that
Hungry.
so.
So we didn't treat it like a buffet. We got a plate of food each.
Yeah.
Was it a $28 omelet or 2 glasses of orange juice, potatoes, bacon?
But I mean,
Maybe.
that's just this.
On this ship?
ship.
Yes. On this ship, absolutely.
Yeah.
Actually, that was probably the cheapest meal we've eaten on this ship, other than the marketplace, midship marketplace. It was good though. It was a nice way to round out the trip.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, how did you sleep last night?
I actually slept. Well, I slept much better.
But
Than
not
I
long
have,
enough.
But not long enough because we went to bed pretty
12:30,
late.
yeah.
Woke up around 6:30.
Sleeping in for us.
Which is sleeping in for us, but my body does not feel like it's gotten enough sleep.
Mm-mm.
but I slept solidly.
Yeah, it was a good sleep
So-
last night. I feel like the wind in Long Beach is howling, and we have those
Oh my
portholes open.
gosh.
So I woke up around 4 to. That was not my ghost impression. That was my wind impression, because of the wind tunnel that gets created through here. Because it's an old building or an old ship, so there's cracks in the door, so the air sucks through and creates that howl. That was cool. I mean,
it was a little creepy this
I'm not gonna lie. I thought it was a ghost. Then I
Very
realized
loud
what was happening. It's super windy today.
Yeah.
Overall, what do you think about your stay at the Queen Mary for 2 nights?
I really
So
enjoyed
overall, would you recommend this place as a hotel?
it. I would.
Me too. I think I enjoyed my 2 nights here. I agree about the whole. You need more than just check in to check out time to see it all, but you probably don't need a full weekend here. It was a nice weekend.
It was, and
I had
we
a good
did
time.
other stuff like we
Right,
left.
we went over to Shoreline Village,
Yeah.
Seaside Village, Sea Lion
No.
Village,
as we call it. a
whatever
different
we
thing.
feel like. We went over to downtown Long Beach. So that ate up a large portion of our Saturday. If you're gonna do that, sure, 2 nights for sure. It's a good
Yeah,
weekend.
definitely. But I feel
Um,
like if we were all just stuck here,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd be like. There's stuff you can do. You can play games. I mean, I guess you can find stuff, but
I'd be hard pressed to entertain myself
Yeah.
for a straight 48 plus hours.
Mm-hmm.
Do you recommend it as just a day trip, like a tourist attraction?
for sure.
The
I
tour
mean,
especially.
Before I stayed here, I mean, this is the first time I've stayed here. I used to just come for
For a day,
tours.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have a meal.
Yeah.
What else? Guys, I had such a good time. Now we are in a Deluxe King I mentioned with a harbor view, so it was $271-ish a night with all the taxes and stuff. They have cheaper rooms here. Don't be like turned off by that. There are cheaper dining options, and plus that Shoreline Village is right over there, about 2 miles away. So there are cheaper dining options if you don't want to go more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't the cheapest place to stay for both
No.
room
And food. Yeah.
Food especially. I feel like we just paid
Food was
so
pricey. I think we
much.
spent more on food than we did on the rooms for the weekend.
Oh,
Yeah, easily.
100%.
Food and drink.
Yeah.
And let's talk food real quick while we're on the subject of how much we spent. What was your favorite meal that we had here on the ship? We've got the Midship Marketplace we have for breakfast. We have the Promenade Cafe. We just did the breakfast buffet, and yesterday we did their lunch. And then Friday night we did the Chelsea's Chowder House. And Friday night we had appetizers at the Observation Bar.
Yeah.
So what's been your favorite meal?
As a meal, like as a whole,
Yeah.
I would say lunch at the Promenade Cafe.
100%,
Yes,
100% agree with that. It was delicious.
We cleaned those plates.
Yeah, those plates were-
they
there was nothing left.
It was, everything on that plate was delicious.
So yummy.
Had no complaints.
How do you feel about the alcohol on board? Like the drinks, the cocktails.
They're pretty good.
Pretty
They
interesting.
definitely- Yeah, they're different.
Yeah.
But tasty. I don't think I've had like one that I was like,
No Negronis.
But yeah, like, what would be your favorite beverage? Like, what was your
Oh,
favorite
shoot.
beverage?
Had to cut there because I had to think about the name of the drink. It's called the W6RO, and it was that whiskey-based cocktail that I had at the Chelsea Chowder House. Absolutely my favorite cocktail here. Named the W6RO after the radio signal that the Queen Mary broadcasts for emergencies. So the Queen Mary's used, we found this out, as an emergency broadcast tower when needed. And that signal is the W6RO, which is why that drink's called that.
Very interesting.
We learned stuff on the tour. Whole lots of stuff. Guys, Queen Mary,
Yep.
at the end of the day, you should absolutely come check this out. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next adventure.
Bye.
Bye.